Imagine a disease that doesn't start with a fever. No cough, no rash, no pain. Instead, it starts with a rhythm. A rhythm that slowly takes control of your body. Your muscles contract, your legs begin to move on their own, and your arms twitch uncontrollably. You try to stop, but your body refuses to listen. You keep dancing for hours, then days. Your feet blister, your bones weaken, your heart struggles to keep up, and eventually, your body begins to fail. This sounds like fiction, a horror story, or a dark medieval legend. But in the summer of 1518, this actually happened, in the city of Strasbourg. And what happened next left hundreds of people trapped inside their own bodies. This is the terrifying mystery of the dancing plague. To understand how this nightmare began, we need to go back to July 1518. Strasbourg was a city filled with suffering. People were starving. Disease spread through the streets. Poverty was everywhere. The summer heat made everything worse. The air felt heavy, and fear lived in every corner of the city. Then one morning, something strange happened. A woman named Frau Trophäa stepped outside her home and into the street. There was no music, no celebration, and no reason to dance. But suddenly, she did. At first, her movements were small and subtle, a shift of her feet, a slight turn of her body. But within minutes, her movements became violent and uncontrollable. She twisted, spun, and jerked as if something had taken control of her. Her neighbors watched in confusion. Some thought she had lost her mind. Others thought she was seeking attention. But as the hours passed, their confusion turned into fear. Because she didn't stop. She danced for hours without rest. She collapsed from exhaustion, slept briefly, and then woke up and started dancing again. This continued for days. She was trapped in a cycle she could not escape. And then, something even more disturbing happened. Others began to join her. At first, just a few people. Then more. Within a week, over 30 people were dancing in the streets. They weren't celebrating. They weren't performing. They were suffering. Their faces showed pain and terror. Their bodies moved against their will. By the end of the month, over 400 people were dancing. 400 people, unable to stop. No one understood why this was happening. No one knew how to stop it. If you find mysteries like this fascinating, let me know in the comments. And if you want to explore more unexplained stories, consider subscribing, because this story becomes even darker. The streets of Strasbourg became a nightmare. People collapsed from exhaustion. Their feet were covered in blood. Their bodies were pushed beyond their physical limits. And then people started to die. Not from infection, not from disease, but from pure exhaustion. Heart attacks, strokes, complete physical failure. Some reports claim that at the height of the plague, up to 15 people died each day. The city was in panic. Desperate for answers, the authorities turned to doctors. The doctors gave a diagnosis that seems strange today. They believed the victims were suffering from overheated blood, and they recommended that the dancers continue dancing to release the illness. So the city followed their advice. They cleared public spaces and created dance floors. They hired musicians to play music. They even hired people to support the dancers who were too weak to stand. But this decision made everything worse. The music encouraged more people to join. More people collapsed. More people died. The city had unknowingly turned itself into a machine of destruction. Finally, the authorities realized their mistake. They banned music. They banned public dancing. And when medicine failed, they turned to religion. The surviving dancers were taken to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus. There, they performed rituals and prayed for forgiveness. And slowly, the dancing began to stop. One by one, people regained control of their bodies. The plague ended as suddenly as it began. But the question remained: what caused it? For centuries, scientists and historians searched for answers. One theory suggested poisoning from a toxic fungus found in bread. This fungus could cause hallucinations and convulsions, but it could not explain how people danced for days without stopping. The most accepted explanation today is something known as mass psychogenic illness, also called mass hysteria. This is when extreme stress and fear cause real physical symptoms. The people of Strasbourg lived in constant fear. Starvation, disease, and death surrounded them. They believed curses were real. When Frau Trophäa began dancing, it may have triggered a chain reaction. Fear spread from person to person. Their minds lost control, and their bodies followed. It wasn't a virus. It wasn't bacteria. It was fear itself. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of the most disturbing mysteries in human history. It revealed how powerful the human mind can be and how fragile it truly is. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like. It helps others discover these forgotten mysteries. Subscribe if you want to see more stories that history cannot explain. And tell me in the comments, what do you think really caused the dancing plague? Because sometimes, the truth is far more disturbing than fiction.